Hi guys, welcome back to your channel. This is your narrator and I hope you all are doing well. Let's get into today's story.
I'm 26 years old male and deeply in love with my married coworker, 33 years old female, who is in a tough situation. I can't even believe how I got here. I maybe just need to get this off of my chest, and not even my ex-girlfriend got me this wired. Months ago, I started working another job. I always had a rule that I would not get involved in any workplace relationships outside from acquaintances. But since the pandemic practically limited my options, I decided to just see where things would go. Little bit of background that is very important about her: she comes from a devout Muslim family, has kids, and at the time hadn't seen her husband in person for 2 years. I was just doing my job one day and had very little interaction with her, and one day she invites me out of the blue to dinner on her birthday with a small amount of other co-workers. This came out of shock to me because I didn't really interact with her at all at this job. We go out. I found out the information about her gradually, that she used to live in the Middle East and basically ran away with her kids, because apparently her husband wasn't doing anything to get them out of his parents' house where she had lived with for years. On her birthday, her family, mother, father, brothers would constantly call her to get back home because it was getting late around 9 p.m. Even though she was already 33 and would advise her not to drink or do anything. She had kept it secret from her family that she had invited me and another guy to her birthday dinner, which apparently is a huge no-no in her culture. I am giving you these details to paint just how religious her family is. We all hang out, and she had a great time as with everyone else. Weeks and months go by, and we're talking, texting, hanging out for lunches. Despite her situation on my vacation, she would text me and be concerned about me and ask if I was safe. No girl had ever done that before, and she was who I wasn't actively dating, and this is when I started to really fall in love with her. We had gone out to lunch several times, but after I came back from vacation, I basically told her that I was into her. I didn't want to escalate anything else because she was married. She basically said that she was married and that her family ingrained in her while growing up that she could not do anything with me. Otherwise, she would suffer consequences, of course. I understood and kept my composure and realized that I would never want this girl to not only go against her religious beliefs, but also suffer any of the consequences. Great, we can just be friends, as this girl is super nice and I really dug her personality and the way she treated other people, of course. As months went by, I started dating around again for a brief moment when the pandemic started, to ease off summer 2021. I dated several girls and had posted our little dates on social media. The day after at work, she asked to hang out for lunch. Great. While at lunch, she took a picture of both of us eating and suggested that I should post us because I had never done that before. So, I did it. Repeat that the next day again. The girls I was actively dating disappeared after seeing me and her posted on social media for understandable reasons. In my mind, I was whatever about it, because I knew I could just keep dating around anyway, but also in the back of my mind I was actually really into her. After this happened, I thought she really did love me. I fell deep in love with her at this point, and I recognized I might have gone too far off the deep end to be able to recover from catching feelings. That's when I couldn't stop thinking about her. I never knew I could really love someone romantically who was married and deeply religious. This spiraled over the next few weeks as I tried to go back out dating around again. I just could not stop thinking about this girl. I even managed to date around initially and slept with another girl, but I had never felt so empty afterwards. That's how I knew I was in love. Every other girl I would talk to would seem like a shadow compared to her. I would easily lose interest in any other girl I tried to force myself to talk to and just kept thinking about her. My infatuation with her just grew more to the point where my dating life was practically destroyed and I could not recover it. I was still talking to her at work. We would flirt with each other here and there, and we'd hang out. One day, out of frustration that I was losing my dating life, I told her that I was getting to the point where I liked her so much that my dating life was destroyed. I still did not want this girl to go against her family and moral religious beliefs, so I told her out of caution for myself and for her. I also stated that I couldn't really talk or hang out with her again, and because of that she was really sad. When I told her that, she said I would be devastated if you weren't at least my friend anymore. I told her that I couldn't be good friends with her because of how I felt. She said we didn't have to be good friends but still friends, and I agreed. This is when I started to cut some contact. I would acknowledge her and still talk to her, but she knew something was off. I started to become sad about this whole situation. I was in love with a girl who's married who I can never have, and I'm making her sad because I'm intentionally creating some boundaries between us. This is when things really changed. She started getting sad and I knew it was partly because we weren't as close anymore. Fast forward around Thanksgiving time, I was about to leave the job, so I told her we could hang out again before I left that week. She called her husband to tell him she wanted a divorce. This is when her situation got even more ducked up. She hadn't seen her husband in 3 years. Now she was living with her family and supporting her kids without him for years. Then her husband wanted to make amends and wanted to do better. So she told me while we were hanging out that she's going back to the Middle East to give him a final chance. I, of course, was skeptical and told her to be careful. I kept my distance with her after because I wanted her to have a clean shot and not to have some guy she met ruin her marriage. Shortly after she came into work, this is when her situation gets really bad. I found out she hadn't eaten in a week. I practically begged her to eat and got her favorite snack. The next day, I asked her what was wrong and she had told me she was going through a lot and that she didn't want it to rub off on me. I told her it was okay but to promise me that she would at least eat once a day. She kept her promise. Later on, I found out what had happened. Her husband had gotten into a secret marriage without her knowing. This is allowed in their culture religion. Now she is left to either stay with her husband, which she said she would not, or have a divorce and take care of her kids on her own. This is where she is currently at. She seemed very depressed and anything I did to cheer her up was just temporary. I left that job shortly after finding a new one. I still think about her. I don't know what I can do to really help her. I'm partly still deeply in love with her, but also just wanted to know that she would be okay, which now I'm not so sure. I don't know what to do at this point. I haven't felt this depressed since for a very long time. I really want to help her but secretly want to be with her. And every day, I wish that things had turned out differently. She has been keeping her distance with me as well, understandably, but I can't seem to get her out of my mind. I really love her and I feel like I'm falling apart because of this whole thing. We're still in touch. I don't want to completely cut contact because I don't want to add that on top of everything else she's going through. At least she has someone looking out for her. This situation is making me super depressed and I haven't felt okay in a while.
Hi everyone, this is the narrator again. Before moving further, we would request you to subscribe to the channel to show your support. Now, let's get into the update.
So it's been around few weeks since I changed my job and have been talking to her over the phone sometimes. Her husband went for second marriage in her home country, leaving her here with her kids. I thought that this could be my chance to show my affection towards her and ask her to leave her husband and be with me. The thing is, she is a cultured woman and doesn't want to leave her husband no matter what, and she won't be able to live with this condition. So I had an open talk with her about me. I told her that I love her and would never leave her if she will be with me. But turns out she doesn't want it. She rejected my offer and said that she can't do wrong even though if her husband is a cheater. She says that she will just go back to her home country and confront him about this marriage. But this could lead to bigger problems as her family is strict and might force her to stay there. She said she just wants her kids to have a safe future there and she needs my help. Yes, now I just realized that I was about to be used by her. She asked me to keep her children for a few months and she was going to go home and confront her husband. Meanwhile, her kids stay safe here with me. What the heck? Why am I responsible to take care of her kids and don't deserve to date her? It's like she tricked me by showing her love in her and now finally using me to let her kids stay here. When heard her, I knew something was off. If her family wouldn't let her come back here, I will be stuck with her kids whom I was responsible to feed. She told me that she has no one else she could trust and that she will be back within a week. Some of her family members were staying there as well, and she could have left the kids with them. But I was the responsible one. Great. I told her that I needed to think of this and need to be prepared and asked her to give me a day. I knew how complicated her culture was, and she rejected me already as a partner. There was no chance that she was going to start dating me even after she comes back. I know I am being selfish here, but so does she. She has the choice to stay and dump her husband. There is no reason to go back there and fight with him. So, after asking her a day to think about keeping her kids, and I decided not to. I had a call with her and explained her that I couldn't do this, that I cannot take responsibility of her kids. After this discussion, the attached I had with her started to fade away and I wanted to move on with someone else. I feel glad that the emotions went away and I am able to get away from such a big responsibility. Let me know about my decision which I made, if it was wrong or if it was right. According to me, she didn't want to be with me but wanted me to take care of her and her kids.
Thank you guys for listening to today's story. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed the story. Take care, bye for now.